my name is George,
And this is Jeremy.
and we're Kotaticast. We're doing a series on coronavirus. So let's just jump into what's going on with the both of us. We're currently confined to our quarters, I suppose you can say. We both live in Contra Costa County, where just yesterday they announced the shelter in place. I actually got a text notification.
And
Did
it's
you?
weird because I never received it, and
You didn't receive it?
is it just an iOS thing? I never received any notification. You were my notification.
Really? Oh, I guess that's what I'm here for. All right, you know what it was? They only wanted iPhone users to get it.
Yeah, that's true.
They're discriminating against Android users.
Like it's a system alert, right? It's not like you don't have an app or
Yeah, I think it's a system alert.
yeah.
I think it's just done through iOS.
I get other system alerts. Like, isn't the Amber Alert from a system alert?
Yeah, it's exactly like the Amber Alert.
Yeah, so something weird is going on over there. But yeah, it's pretty weird. Well, I guess I'm kind of used to being in quarantine in a way, but
Would you like to expand on that? Why are you used to being in quarantine?
yeah, so I'm normally pretty introverted, and I like staying at home, not interacting with anyone.
And
But I'm forced to interact with people.
And what's your job again?
So I work as a software consultant, and I actually just came back from Ohio. I actually got kicked out of Ohio, you can say, last week. So I've been working on this project for months, and because of the virus, they pretty much stopped any out-of-state business, and pretty much just forced all out-of-state contractors to leave, and all those contracts were terminated.
So that was an official state guideline.
I don't know if it's
Who
a state
announced it?
guideline, but yeah, it was the company's policy. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were following state guidelines. But yeah, so I mean, ever since I got here, I pretty much just stayed in my room. I didn't think I would self quarantine. I was feeling okay when I got here, but the day right after, I started feeling like my throat got sore, had a runny nose, like very basic symptoms of like a cold. But just to be safe, I just decided to self quarantine. So now I haven't left my room other than going to the bathroom for maybe 3-4 days.
Okay.
So I've pretty much been like that for a while. But considering the symptoms didn't get worse, if anything, if I did get it, it's very mild. But yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty scary, right? Like, what if I didn't get it, but I wanted to make sure, go to the hospital, get tested, but I got it. I ultimately I get it because of going. Is that a legitimate fear? That's kind of what I'm wondering.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue, right? You want to get tested, but you don't want to expose yourself to other people that might already have it, which I guess is the rationale behind drive-through testing.
Mhm.
Because right, everybody is confined to their own cars, and they're limiting exposure to other people who might have the virus.
So did they open any drive-through
From what I've seen from local news, Oakland Kaiser, there's drive-through testing, but it's only for Kaiser members. So I don't think you can go there if you're just if you're not a Kaiser member.
One thing I heard is some companies are opening their parking lots as drive-through testing sites. Walmart for one. I think Target. They're not providing the testing themselves, but they're providing the space.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going.
that was announced at Trump's news conference last Friday, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, where he brought up all the CEOs on to the podium and was trying to shake their hand. He was trying to give them the coronavirus.
He's still doing that? Is he not doing the elbow thing?
I don't know. Maybe he is now. Maybe too many people shut him down. Rejected the handshake.
This guy was like bragging about how he's corona free, but he just got tested once. He can eventually get it.
Yeah, I've actually also heard that the test is not 100% accurate, where people are getting false negatives.
Is that just the US test, or you mean in general?
In general, I've seen a lot of news come out about that. We can't confirm, how valid this news is, but it's kind of alarming to hear that, right?
Yeah. Is that something that's expected? I would think that pretty much all testing have have some occurrences of false positive, false negatives. Are these tests worse than normal?
Sorry, what do you mean by worse than normal?
Like, do they have a higher false positive incidence
A higher false positive instance than what?
in comparison to some other tests?
What,
Just
like influenza A?
yeah, let's say that.
I'm actually not familiar with that. I think that's something that we'll discuss in the future when we do our public health segment.
Hmm.
It's definitely something to look into. So actually jumping back to your experience with Ohio, we should talk about your experience flying.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was hearing that the airports were emptier than what I experienced. When I went to the airport, yeah, sure, there were less people, but it was like 20% less. It's, it's nothing like major. The flights were still mostly booked. And one thing I noticed that's pretty strange, considering you're hearing about airlines are having a lot of issues with their finances, is ticket prices are pretty much they haven't moved, or if anything, they might be a little bit more expensive, which is
Really?
a bit strange. Yeah, normally I get tickets from Ohio back to California for say about 350, and these tickets were close to 600.
Wow, close to 600.
Yeah,
So practically almost double, right?
yeah. So I'm wondering why. Maybe they kept the prices high to make up for lost income from passengers that don't want to fly anymore. Because I mean, people are going to be forced to fly anyways, trying to get more money from them.
Right, they have to recoup the cost of lost
Yeah.
passengers because they still have to pay for fuel, right?
Hmm.
And I guess the amount of weight per passenger is negligible compared to, the cost of flight the plane and the weight itself.
Hmm. And another thing I noticed at the airports is um, people aren't being more cautious than normal. Like I've seen some people with masks, but you always see people with masks around. Maybe a little uptick, but I was thinking that I'd see a lot of people with masks, but you don't really see any of that. I guess one reason is you can't get masks anymore.
You're cutting off a little bit. Some of your words aren't. It seems like you're cutting off a bit.
You hear me better?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you better.
All right.
That's actually much better.
Okay. Yeah, I
Okay.
have to bring the mic closer. Yeah, so like coming into the airport, you would think that you would see more people with masks, but there weren't really more people with masks. That would probably be because no one can find masks anymore. I was actually trying to find some on Amazon like a few days before the flight, but they're sold out. And even the ones that you find, they'll ship in like 3 weeks, and they're probably like $100 a pack. I don't know if the situation's changed, but that's what I saw last time I checked.
Right. Yeah, I haven't spent that much time looking for masks because I've given up in that regard. Um,
Yeah, and
that's kind of yeah. Sorry, what was that?
one thing that's it's kind of weird because the size of the coronavirus is much less than the size of the filter of the N95 mask, right?
Is that true?
I saw something I saw an article stating that the filters block debris greater than I think 3 nanometers, and the size of the virus is like 1.5 nanometers. I don't know how accurate that is. Regardless,
Oh,
not the best way to probably not the best way to protect yourself.
well, I mean, if you're exclusively talking about the size of the virus itself, it's like when it's transmitted through the air, like via droplets, like
Hmm.
those droplet sizes, are bigger, right? So like it's not just the virus itself that's like, making it through your mask, right?
Yep.
So I think maybe that's part of it. I've heard a lot of stuff about, there's a big debate about the effectiveness of surgical masks and N95 masks, which are the most like common disposable masks that you'll see out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people say that surgical masks aren't really that great. I've heard a lot of public health professionals say that they're not really effective and they're mostly just good at preventing you from touching your face. And that after 15 minutes of wear, they become moist and their effectiveness as a barrier for the virus is heavily reduced.
Yeah. But really, the whole purpose of the mask is just protect others from yourself. Um,
Right, which is the initial purpose of the surgical mask is for surgeons to not infect patients when they're working on them.
mhm.
I mean the N95 masks are a little bit more effective.
Yep.
But what does it matter how effective it is if you can't even get it?
Yep. That's
There's
true.
just a crazy shortage right now.
Mhm.
You hear a lot of clinicians talk about shortages at hospitals and
Mhm.
people that claim, during normal times, if maybe your department's running low on masks, you could just walk outside, get a case of masks. It's not a problem.
Yep.
But now, nobody has stockpiles and all the masks are gone. So where do you go? Where do you get them from? Nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed.
One thing that I haven't fully explored was getting a more permanent respirator, like a full face respirator. And I wonder how effective those are. I mean, I imagine they're like very uncomfortable, which is like already a problem
Yeah.
with masks to begin with, especially with N95 masks.
Well, how much
They
are they?
the full face respirators.
Yeah.
I think I've seen some for around $50, something like that.
Well, I wonder how much they are now.
I actually checked pretty recently, a couple of days ago. I mean, I don't, I say that, but I'm not sure what the availability is.
Yeah.
You see them available here and there, and I can't really trust the websites.
Mhm.
Like, they're not foolproof.
Yeah, one thing I did notice is it's kind of so some of the flight attendants are wearing like gloves and masks and others aren't. So it's not like a uniform. You would think that it'd be like a uniform policy given to the employees by the airlines. I guess they haven't done that because there's like more than half of the flight attendants were not wearing any sort of protection at all.
What about other passengers? Did you notice anybody wearing gloves?
No, not on my flights. I did see some people walking around in the airport wearing gloves and wearing masks, but not as many as I would have. I was imagining.
Yeah, I've seen some people walking around with gloves, but I mean, they're not. I mean, how effective are gloves really, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just keep them on, you still don't want to touch your face,
Hmm.
right? I mean, they're mostly good for situations where if we're just working with something dirty and you don't want to have to wash your hands all the time. But if you're just keeping them on all the time anyways, like what's the point, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, no hand sanitizers available. But in stores, people are saying that, yeah, there's no hand sanitizers, but no one's buying the soap. So what are they focusing on?
Nobody's buying the soap.
Yeah, no one buying soap.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think that kind of plays into there's like a little bit of paranoia going on out there. Like when you see people taking all the hand sanitizer, toilet paper, paper products, and especially bottles of water, which is really surprising to me because that's kind of like, oh, civilization is going to collapse, Like we're preparing for the apocalypse, but it's really not like that. Municipalities will still be supplying you with clean water. It's not it's not that big of a deal, guys. I mean, it's good that people have bottled water, though. I mean, if there's something to drive people to prepare, for a disaster like an earthquake, like this really makes them more prepared for something like that. I don't know. There's just a lot of people freaking out right now.
Yeah, kind of makes me wonder, like, worst case scenario, the virus in a month, maybe everyone affected. Is that going to affect our tap water?
That's definitely a bit of a concern. I think that I mean, as far as I know regarding water safety, they always have to test for viral contaminants and they're always diligent about, making sure viral loads are kept to a minimum.
How many workers are needed to run whatever we need to get the tap water going? How does that even work?
That's not something that, I have the capability to speak that much about. I do know somebody who's actually working for a water utilities company as a chemist. He would probably know more than I do.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is actually automated. If anything, how important are workers to that entire process?
Fortunately, most people are going to be okay. And, it's not like stuff is shutting down. Like, come on, guys. This is not airborne Ebola. This is not bubonic plague. We'll be fine. Like
Not
most people
Spanish
are going to be
flu.
fine. It's not Spanish flu. Although I was thinking about saving comparisons to the Spanish flu for a later date, but I did want to say that Well, you know, well, actually, no, I will say that for a later date because that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, I don't want to get into it right now. But yeah, it's not a Spanish flu, guys.
Yeah, so how have you been staying indoors? What have you been doing?
I've been following the markets. I don't know. It feels kind of dumb to say that, but that's what I've been spending a lot of time doing. I've been going on Wall Street bets a lot, taking some short positions against the market.
What are you shorting?
Airlines, oil stocks, SPY, the S&P 500 ETF.
Probably the best things to short right now.
Um,
Well, I don't know about SPY. SPY's been going up and down.
well, the thing is that the SPY premiums are high, or at least the SPY option premiums are pretty high.
Hmm.
Just because of the implied volatility. Just because every day, it just goes up and down and huge swings, big percentage swings.
Yep.
What yesterday? Yesterday was one of the worst Mondays in history. So dropped 12%, dropped 11, 12%, something like that.
Hmm.
And then today we're up, I want to say around five. And just like the implied volatility of the underlying shares for these options contract, it just makes it so much more expensive. And so it's kind of a difficult thing to get into right now. And it makes it scary because when volatility drops, the prices on these options they flatline, and then you can lose a lot of money that way.
Yeah, that's why I'm not getting into options trading.
Yeah, it's not. I don't recommend it.
My plan is pretty much just to buy VU, which is Vanguard's S&P 500 index,
Yeah.
and that's probably one of the safer things you can do. And I did get a small batch of American Airlines shares. My thinking was that really they're gonna get bailed out, and they're a bit over. The shares are a bit over. I mean, yeah, they're having issues. They have a lot. I think eventually it'll go back up.
I mean, you're really just planning for the long term, right?
Yeah, everything I get right now is just a long term hold.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a smart thing to do. You want to buy in while the market is down.
But like, it's also scary because I mean, where is this income coming from that's allowing me to put some money on the market, right? It's coming from my job, and since I work at a small business, it's kind of scary right now. There's a lot of small businesses closing, hopefully temporarily, but looking at the whole situation, probably going to be long term, and there's going to be a lot of layoffs. There's going to be a lot of people losing their jobs. It's pretty scary to think about.
Yeah, it's I don't know, especially when you're looking at stuff like the market, you just see numbers and a lot of people think it's just the game, but behind all those numbers is people's livelihoods. So when you're doing something like me, like shorting the market, there's a little bit of an internal conflict and you're just like, is what is what am I doing? Is that like okay? Like if I can make money like taking advantage of a crisis? I mean, the thing is that somebody's making the money and it's mostly going to be institutional investors with like, super optimized algorithms. I mean, I don't know. It's not even a guarantee that I'm going to make money.
And that's the other thing as well. Like, who's the safest in this situation? Really, people, upper class people who could work from home. I mean, people that are working, let's say in groceries, they can't go back home. They're pretty much essential. Everyone that's working from home is pretty lucky in a way that they're able to work from home.
Yeah, there's for a few days there, you could really see like a class division where you'd have all these white collar office workers who have the capability to work remotely from home. And then you have people where it's like your job is doing something like in the service industry, like you have to be there. And
Mhm.
especially when, things are getting kind of weird where they're telling you like, there's contagious people or asymptomatic, or you're just like, well, I just got to do my job. Like, that's it. I need money. I can't just walk out.
Yeah, and if these guys get sick, then what happens? I mean, they're probably going to get fired. Yeah, what was that store? I think it was Whole Foods where the CEO was trying to get workers to donate their sick time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I saw that. Was that Amazon? We don't
well,
want to, say the
I think it was Whole
wrong
Foods,
company
which
here.
is owned by Amazon. And
No, I think that's correct.
it was Whole Foods CEO that said that initially, blaming Bezos. But yeah, and these guys, I mean, they're not earning a place, so it's really tough for them.
So what are we talking about next? What's next on our agenda? You want to talk about the Dolphins?
Yeah, the dolphins are waiting for us to die off.
Do you you want to elaborate? Would you like to explain yourself?
So there's been some videos going around on Twitter about how because of the lack of people going outside, there's been a decrease in the usage of boats, and docks are empty. So then this is making wildlife, in particular dolphins, come back up to the docks. This is happening in Venice, I think.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
seeing them, you're seeing them when normally this really didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. They're they're just waiting for an opportunity. You know, if we turn our backs, who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, and you've also seen the video of the monkey.
I have the monkey video.
Oh, you should pull that up.
And telling me to pull it up. I don't have the link.
All right, let me find it.
Okay.
I think that was in Thailand. Yeah.
In Thailand. What's the monkey video?
Here, I just linked you.
Yeah, the monkeys are having a turf war. I saw this picture.
Think about it. If you're like that one lone traveler there, you're gonna get swarmed.
You're gonna get swarmed by the monkeys. Oh my god. Yeah, there's a wide open street with cars driving down, and there's just tons of monkeys running everywhere. Making chittering noises, and it's a madhouse.
I'd be pretty worried too. I mean,
It's like the Lion King.
monkeys can get pretty angry, and they can.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I just saw they just all form like a big ball, like they're just beating each other up.
Yeah, and some monkeys eat other monkeys. Monkey
Yeah,
cannibal.
carnivorous monkeys. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so pretty much the world is just going crazy right now.
All right, so you think that's it for our first episode?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, dude. How are we supposed to end the episode?
We need to make an
What am I supposed to
outro.
say?
We need to make an outro.
What am I supposed to say?